Okay, it's Tuesday, July 23rd, 2024. Call the planning board meeting to order. Please stand for the pledge of allegiance.
United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
First on our agenda tonight is the boundary line adjustment for Noreen Montgomery and Timothy and Kathleen Montgomery and Hartman Luke. You want to step up to the Karen, do you want to explain the, you and I went over the maps, but
Okay, in your packet is a map it's yellow. It shows all the properties that we're dealing with tonight. There's 3 or 4 parcels there. The parcel, no, I've got it written out for you, handwritten out in my notes. Parcel 319,135.1, which is gonna be just the one with the 35.1 on this map with the yellow, is currently owned by Noreen Montgomery. It's split by the road. The northern portion is 1.26 acres. That's the surveyed amount. And the southern portion is 2.18 acres. So the total acreage would be that 3.46. The lot 37 is also owned by Noreen Montgomery, is 1.16 acres surveyed. It differs from what this map shows, but it's because it's surveyed numbers, not from this map. The 35.2 is owned by Tim Montgomery and his wife, which is currently 8.21 acres. What they want to do is incorporate the northern lands off of Hartman Hill that belong to Noreen Montgomery into their parcel. So it's actually like a boundary line adjustment plus a combination, I guess, of lots. Anyway, that's what the action is for. They're here. If you have any questions, it's in the RT zone, which requires an acre. So they're all have that acre. After the subdivision is done, they're required to have the 200 feet of frontage. They all have that at some point on the properties. So they meet the requirements in the subdivision book for what they want to do. There is a house on the Montgomery's property. There's also a house on the upper portion of Noreen Montgomery's land.
Are those properties the 37 lot and the 35.1 lots?
Correct. They're going to be combined into the 35.2 lot. And you have a ledger size map also in your packet. And some of you have the ledger size. There was enough to share 2 people could share one. And then you have the legal size one that I did for everybody. And John has the original surveyed map there at his desk.
So at the end of this will be 1.2 or 1.16 acre lot that has no structures on it at all,
37,
correct?
that has no structures on it. That's going to be combined into 35.2, which does have a structure on it.
so what she's saying is if if you look at the yellow part, where it says 37, 35.1, and 35.2 on the
Okay.
one side of the loop.
Yeah, so everything that's
It'll all
on the
become
south
one
side of the
piece.
road
So, correct,
comes together. And then
Yeah.
the
And the other
north
side will
of
just
the
be
road becomes
one
its
by
own
itself.
thing.
yeah, correct.
Is the one on the other side? Is the one on the other side of the road non-conforming?
There, it has 1 point, it is conforming. It has 1 point, I think, let me look here in my notes, 1.16 acres, only one is required. And it has the 200 feet width along the, more than that along the road.
Can I ask the reason why you're doing this?
The reason why we're doing it is that my mom or our mom has gone to assisted living at the Glen. She requires some funding for that, almost 7,000 a month. So she sold off one piece to my sister that adjoins her land. And now since this adjoins our land, we have an interest in it, kind of connects
For the other piece.
my sister's land on the other side. So we're putting the cash in my mom's bank account is being used to support her at the Glen. And then, you know, her house and the other stuff that at some point that's gonna have to be listed on the market and sold, but we don't have to for probably another 8 or 9 months because we're buying pieces, so it's a process.
So does 35.2 have a residence on it? And the one across the street has a residence on it? On the map?
Yeah, the one across the street, I believe, was your mother's house, correct?
Yes.
This one,
This is your mother's house.
okay?
No, this is gonna be a standalone.
So they can't combine all four of those and
No,
have
they're not
two
going to.
residents? I thought Karen said all four were gonna be
We're
combined.
doing a
into one.
boundary.
These three are combined in
to
one,
pull it into
that one's
This
separate.
Oh,
parcel.
But that is still conforming, even though.
This is one parcel.
Yeah, this one was part of
Mhm.
this one, I believe,
Mhm.
and this is another one.
Oh.
Yeah,
35.1.
This one is big.
Yes.
All right, so across the
This is
street
gonna
is
be
part
one
of
parcel with one
35.1.
house. This is gonna
They're
be
gonna
the second
cut that
parcel.
there, so the
with
across the
another
street
house
is
on it.
one piece. And then they're gonna take 37,
What aren't you
35.1,
understanding?
35.2 and make it all.
No,
one.
they are not combining this.
But they can't if
Please.
35.1 has
This
a
is gonna
residence
be-
on it.
That's why
A
they're doing,
separate,
they're doing the boundary.
you're doing a boundary line adjustment of this parcel. This is
Okay,
one
so
parcel.
they're
right now.
subdividing
They're gonna
this
do a
off
boundary line adjustment and
different
pull this
number
portion of it
and then
into this-
combining these three.
These two have the same number.
Right.
Because they're all one property.
So the one across the street's gonna get its
and it
own
means
number,
that
They're gonna have that number,
35.1,
and then,
37.
and this one will become part of.
Okay. So there's two separate things happening.
Right, that,
I
exactly.
don't know how to tell you differently.
I was confused, sorry.
Well, that's why I came in early and have it explained.
Did you want to say something about the barn?
Yeah, the barn, there is a barn on the property, the piece that's 1.16 acres. Or no, I'm sorry, it's the bigger piece there. I had a gentleman from barn raising company out in Syracuse come out and take a look at it a couple of weeks ago. And he said, well, he would have to, number one, ask the town for permission to put screws in underneath the road to pull it back. And he would have to jack it up and replace the foundation, and he gave me a quote for $58,500. I was like, wow.
So-
Not my lifetime.
He wants, well, what was the impetus for this to begin with? Is it in bad shape?
Yeah, it's starting to tip, and we have put some bracing on it. My dad, when he was alive, put a new corner with blocks. He jacked it up enough to put some blocks under it. But it just keeps shifting. The way the guy described it, so close to the road that every time the frost heaves, it moves another 1/8 of an inch or whatever.
Mhm.
And so now it's not the barn is sitting like this, but the foundation's sitting like that.
Hmm.
It's starting to do one of these and it's just gonna drop. There were 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 barns, I think it was 5 in a house on that property when I was a kid. We watched a couple of those just collapse. There was one right near it to the left, and that one one day it just fell.
Mhm.
this one hasn't fallen yet, but it's got 4 beams underneath the floor, and then I look in the underside of it that are cracked. So it's not something I wanna walk into at this point, but I was hoping it could be salvaged, but for 60,000, I don't have that money. Put into an old barn. Unfortunately.
So Mary, I have a question for you.
Hi.
This is probably what you're gonna say.
You mentioned your mom is in assisted living. So if she signed this authorization form, is she competent?
Yes,
Yeah, she's not in,
she's not in memory care. She has her own apartment
I understand,
and she's in the assisted living at the terrace.
but not independent living. I know that my mom lives there. I know there's
Yep.
independent living. I know there's assisted
No,
living.
she's not in
and
independent living. She's in assisted living.
Does she have a power of attorney?
I am her power of attorney.
I'm a little uncomfortable with that information. I mean, I just don't know if she. If you have the power of attorney and you can give a copy to Karen, that would fix it. But I'm just concerned she doesn't have the capacity to authorize you to act as her agent.
Okay. I understand. Yeah, I sat down with her and explained what it was. Her attorney had given a sheet of paper as well, saying that, you know, he would duly represent both sides of the transaction. She was okay with that.
I don't like that either.
She's planning to, you know, meet with her attorney. If this is approved, meet with him and go through the process of, signing over the deed.
The power, if he gives me a copy of the power of attorney, that will take care of the issue then?
Correct.
Can you do that?
Yes, I can. I didn't bring it with me. I don't think I have a copy in the truck.
If they approve it, I'm not saying that they will, but if
Yeah.
they approve it, then they can do it with that condition that you have to provide me
Sure.
with that.
Yep. I can bring it.
Who did the power of attorney?
Wayne Judge.
Okay.
Or, no, I'm sorry, he didn't. It was actually, Lynn Actor.
Okay.
Yeah,
Because if you don't have a copy, they usually keep a copy of.
yeah, Lynn Actor would have a copy. It was done back in, 2000. Yeah, 2019.
Okay.
And then would he have to sign the application also along with her?
So he would sign his power of attorney.
Okay.
I mean, he can sell, if he has power of attorney, he doesn't even need this form. He can deal with her real estate, he can deal with her bank accounts, I don't even think you need to be here in front of us. You have
Yeah.
power of attorney.
I should have just brought a copy of that with me. I just was saying, well, let me just go meet with her and make sure she fully understands, get her to sign that instead
Yep.
of just, but yeah, I can bring a copy over. That's no problem.
Sorry, you got your question.
Well, now that you've ruined it. No, I just said, I was thinking, not only is a boundary adjustment, it's the merger of, because you're doing away with a certain property, you know. One of them's just completely going away, no longer has a number, it's being part of the big number. So I didn't know. It doesn't say it on the face here, but would that, is there such a term as merging property instead of boundary line adjustment?
Yeah, so, I mean, I guess the other way to do this would just be to have, the property owner, your mom, just deed it over to you. And then you don't even have to be here really, cause I think that administratively, the assessment office can merge them. Which is another way to go, but if you wanna term it a boundary line adjustment, I mean, that's why they're here.
Right. Well, I guess technically one is because they're cutting off part of the property.
Yeah. Yep.
So that would be the part we would approve, not the merging part?
I mean, you could do both, he could do it without your
Oh,
approval
okay.
if you wanted to.
Okay. Anybody else have any questions?
I don't have any problem with the approving it as long as it has that condition that Karen mentioned.
we can state that power of attorney must,
Right.
be proven before action could be taken or finalized.
I don't think it's our jurisdiction, but is there any concern about this barn falling over into the road from a public safety perspective that someone should be aware of? Whether it's zoning or building inspectors or anything?
No, not really, not unless it was in such bad repair that it was gonna fall over. I don't know that it is, I haven't seen it, but you're gonna take care of it in one way or another anyway, correct?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to. I mean, one of them, my father had the fire company come up and burn. Another one fell over in itself, another one he had taken down. So it kind of depends on what stage they're in, you know.
Yeah, I would just have concern if it's right next to the road. If someone's driving by, walking by with their dog and then.
Yeah,
Okay,
it
okay.
just, as the road sits here, it's leaning
Away from,
down the hill.
okay.
So it's kind of, if it goes, it's gonna just go down the hill.
Good to know.
Which parcel is that barn on?
It's on the bigger of the two pieces there.
The middle one.
Yeah, the middle one.
35.1.
The
Yeah.
bottom of 35.1,
35.2.
that's the one.
It says 35.1.
35.2
Oh, I'm sorry.
is
It's
there.
35.1.
It is 0.1.
35.
Yep.
Well, they're exempt from the secret determination, not in the APA. According to our sheet. The next thing we have is to call for a public hearing or not.
I make a motion to waive the public hearing.
Roll call vote.
Yes,
John,
yes,
Tony,
Yes,
Rosalba,
Yes.
Josh,
Yes.
Barb,
Yes.
Michael,
Yes.
Howard.
Yes.
Hearing none, the motion's carried.
going to make the motion.
The next item on there that you have final plat approved, we need to change that to preliminary plat, not final. Because they will bring me in the, everything with all of the information on it when they bring in the Mylar, if you approve it.
you're gonna make the motion.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna make the motion. I'll try to. Okay, I'm gonna make the motion to approve 35.1, the northern piece on the inner side of the loop be removed from the southern piece. And that 37, the southern 35.1 be joined with 35.2. Did I say that right?
Yes,
I said, okay.
but you also need to put that condition on about the power, no?
Wait, hold on. Sorry, I'm
Okay.
very confused. This
Okay.
is my fault.
Okay.
If you're removing the parcel above the road,
No, the parcel above the road is going to stay 35.1.
Right, that'll stay 35.1.
The southern part of 35.1 is going to be removed and added to 35.2, and 37 is going to be added to 35.2.
35.1 will stay, but
It'll just be this
that
one,
parcel.
yes.
And then these two become 35.2.
Got it. I'm with you. Okay.
On the condition of the power of attorney be presented to the town.
I'll second that.
Okay, roll call vote.
Yes,
John,
yes,
Tony,
Yes,
Rosalba,
Yes.
Josh,
Yes.
Barb,
Yes.
Michael,
Yes.
Howard.
Yes.
Hearing none, the motion's carried.
you're all set.
Okay, thank you very much. Appreciate your time.
Thank you.
sorry, Mary, if I
Bring it over.
You did. I was.
Okay.
totally-
Okay, yeah, all right.
like, I look at.
And then you'll have to get the Mylar from your, yeah, and I want one paper copy for my office. You need at least one for the county and one Mylar for the
Understand.
county. So,
Paper on my line.
yeah, and you probably might want one for yourself, I don't know. Okay, all right.
Okay, thank you very much.
I understand. I wish her the best. Good health.
Thanks, Chris.
Take care.
Good to see you.
Take care.
Next, we have Double H Ranch, Hidden Valley Road Site Plan Review to build an amphitheater within the property.
I'm not ready. Okay. Okay, John, I am ready now. I didn't know if you heard me.
Yeah, I did. Okay, and who are presenting?
Good evening. I'm Dennis McElroy with Environmental Design Partnership, and with me is Kurt Kramer, who's the Facilities Director at Double H.
Okay. And I believe you guys want to build an amphitheater, well, put an amphitheater on a piece of property, correct?
Yeah, it's referred to in-house as a camphitheater. It's an area in the central part of the camp proper that would be used as a gathering spot for all the campers and counselors at the morning meetings, at other central activities. There's no real structures involved. It's not a building per se. It's within a sloped area on the site. And first of all, I assume that you're familiar with Double H and where it is on Hidden Valley Road. And within the developed area of the ranch is a series of roads. And this happens to be in a central area that has a topography that's just ideal for this camphitheater, or an area where these gatherings can occur. It is away from Hidden Valley Road. It's central to the other activities within the ranch. So that's the how it came about. And let me explain a little bit differently. I'm with Environmental Design, and we are a consultant to the camp. I happen to also be on the facilities committee for 20 years now. And these plans, though, as you see, were developed by Saratoga Associates. When Kurt checked with Karen to see if it was something that would rise to the level of your involvement, it was thought that we should make application and be here for that. We've also been in contact with APA, and they've wrote back the very next day that there's no jurisdiction on their part. It really is not again, there's not a structure involved. It's an earthen area. There'll be 5 trees that are being removed, some regrading, and a bench seating area, as you can see on the plans on G101, for instance. And you see it's a tiered area. It's a sloped area, so you'll see the alignment of the benches and that gray area. Otherwise, it will be porous asphalt, because we need a better surface, a hardened surface for accessibility for the campers. But it'll be porous asphalt, so they'll in itself will take care of stormwater management.
Currently, the children, we are still every day holding their morning assembly. One of the buildings that you can just barely see the parking lot to the bottom left of this map here is the Fox Bear Cabin. It's a larger parking lot on the property. So currently the kids are standing, gathering there. We have our two portable speakers that give the morning assembly, get everybody excited for the day. And it's kind of just right in the direct sunlight. The main purpose of this project is to get a spot that's more comfortable and potentially more shaded than that parking lot. And it's right next to that parking lot that I said, in that area, as Dennis said, is we call it the heart of camp. It's right in smack dab middle of camp. It's where Paul and Charlie Rocks are. It's a special place in camp. It's a upgrade that we're hoping to make the kids more comfortable during the morning assemblies.
Rather than standing in the parking lot, right?
So it's gonna be a lot like Shepherd Park up in Lake George, just you're going to have benches versus just stone walls to sit on.
What he was referring to as the bench is the stone. So
Okay.
if you're on that lower level closest to the road, that's kind of a stage area, but it's not a built up stage, it's just a flat paved area. Then going up to each tier, I believe there's 8 of them, it's 18 inches of block. And then more porous asphalt, another 18 inches of block, more porous asphalt. And
So they're
all-
not these benches?
Those benches are, if you look on G101, those benches will be placed at the very top,
Okay.
the very last tier, if you will.
Oh.
Yep. So there'll be, at least 4 or 5 acres.
So each level will be a lot like Shepherd Park where it's.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Fortunately, I don't have one of these.
It looks like there's about 7 feet between,
This is
or
what they're
the
talking about.
width of each
Yes.
platform.
And the intent is to have them sit on the cap of that block.
Mhm.
And the porous asphalt 7 feet, so people in wheelchairs can get to each row.
So the 7 feet doesn't include the width of the
I
block
believe
itself,
it-
correct?
I believe you're.
Yep.
7 feet and then.
And then the
Area.
1.5 or whatever of the block, perfect.
So the left-hand side from Rocky Road, you can enter direct right into the seated area. On the other side, is there an exit or is it like a lawn, wood,
It'll taper off.
taper off? So,
Blends into the grassy area.
okay,
Currently, this area is all mowable, gentle slope lawn with just some pine trees and a couple other trees in there.
And there'll be replanting of trees to. The landscaping plan L 600.
Now, let's see on L 600, right up the middle, it's steps going up to each level.
And on the right side where I guess the benches, whatever, sort of wander off into the trees? What is that?
Just blends back into the slope.
Okay. So it sort of just runs off underground, basically.
So instead of having your meeting in the middle of a parking lot, you're having your open space where it makes more sense to do something like that.
A bit more tree.
Right.
are you ever considering in the future putting a roof on it? So while you're building it now, you can think of the future plan of putting a roof on it?
So we gave the option of that to the senior management team. And with feedback from Saratoga Associates, the way the sun rises and sets, the type of structure that we kind of were envisioning wouldn't really provide any shade. And it would have been significantly higher cost for us. So we felt that adding the trees, keeping as many trees as we can that are existing right there, keep it more natural and more cost effective. So, the answer is no.
No,
We
so
don't plan on adding.
is that
cover.
something you really shouldn't consider in case you do want to put a roof on it in the future? You know, say like 5 years, you're using it more and you wish you had a roof on it.
I think if we get that feedback, from the, staff, then we would consider it, but it's not, it was totally shot down. And it's
Okay.
not something we're considering right now. And one suggestion that, one of the people made was, in the future, if we do see like the trees aren't protected instead of shade, similar to what you see on pool sides, so that got a little weight on it and the umbrella comes up to the side, we would just add something like that, something more temporary.
Or the triangle netting that you can
Yeah.
put over it.
Yeah.
Okay.
I know that the APA referral is a no, so we don't need that. So that's correct.
Right, I have a letter in the file.
Which-
It's non-jurisdictional to APA.
Which means they can use the short form, correct?
Yes, but you need to review it because we have to make one change on that.
Okay.
And we've got to fill out pages 3 and 4 also.
Would you like to, Mary? Thank you.
All right, so just we'll go through the first part and then the board has to do the second part, which we've done before. Name of the project, Campatheater, location, the middle of the camp, 97 Hidden Valley Road. Would like to build an open air amphitheater for the kids to sit at during morning assembly. They are currently using a parking lot next to the proposed site that lacks shade, has no seating. This project will make morning assemblies more comfortable for our sensitive population of campers. Sponsor, Double H Ranch, and the facilities director. We put all those information there. Does the proposed action only involve the legislative adoption of a plan, local law, ordinance, administrative rule, or regulation? No, which is correct. Does the proposed action require a permit, approval, or funding from any other government agency? And this is where we should change it to no if you're okay with that.
The reason is because APA came back non-jurisdictional.
Oh, okay.
And if we leave it at yes, we have to give a 30-day notification period for any other agency to coordinate review. I don't think we want to wait 30
That
days.
change.
Okay.
Thank you.
Total acreage of the site of the proposed action, 311 acres. Total acreage to be physically disturbed, 0.17. Total acreage owned or controlled by the applicant or project sponsor, 314.22 acres. Land use is checked were forest, commercial, residential, and residential resort. The proposed action is permitted under the zoning regulations and it's consistent with the adopted comprehensive plan. It is consistent with the predominant character of the existing built or natural landscape. It does not adjoin a state-listed critical environmental area. It will not substantially increase traffic. Public transportation is not available near the proposed site. And there are no pedestrian accommodations or bicycle routes available near the site of the proposed action. The proposed action meets or exceeds the state energy code requirements. It will not connect to an existing public-private water supply. They said this is only an outdoor sitting area, no structures or water hookups. Will not connect to existing wastewater facilities, no water or restrooms at the project. It doesn't contain a structure that's listed on either the state or national register of historic places. It is not in an archaeological sensitive area. Does contain, a portion of the site or lands adjoining the proposed action contain wetlands or other water bodies. But it won't encroach on those. Typical habitats checked are wetland and forest. Doesn't contain any species of animal or associated habitats listed by the state or federal government as threatened or endangered. Not in the 100-year floodplain. Stormwater discharge will not flow to adjacent properties. Any water not absorbed into the ground through the porous asphalt will be directed into our stormwater drains. The proposed action does not result in the impoundment of water or other liquids. And it has not been the location of an active or closed solid waste management facility. And no adjoining property has been the subject of remediation. All right, so the board's part 2. The choices are no or small impact or moderate to large impact. Will the proposed action create material conflict with an adopted land use plan or zoning regulation? Gonna say no or small impact unless I hear differently. Will the proposed action result in a change in the use or intensity of use of land? Will the proposed action impair the character or quality of the existing community? Will the proposed action have an impact on the environmental characteristics that cause the establishment of a critical environmental area? Will the proposed action result in an adverse change in the existing level of traffic or affect existing infrastructure for mass transit, biking, or walkway? Will the proposed action cause an increase in the use of energy and it fails to incorporate reasonably available energy conservation or renewable energy opportunities? Will the proposed action impact existing public or private water supplies or public or private wastewater treatment utilities? Will the proposed action impair the character or quality of important historic, archaeological, architectural, or aesthetic resources? Will the proposed action result in an adverse change to natural resources? Will the proposed action result in an increase in the potential for erosion, flooding, or drainage problems? Will the proposed action create a hazard to environmental resources or human health? And then someone needs to make a motion that this proposed action will not result in any significant adverse environmental impacts.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Roll call vote.
Yes, please.
John,
Yes.
Tony,
Yes.
Rosalba,
Yes.
Josh, Barbara,
Yes.
Michael,
Yes.
Howard.
Yes.
Hearing none, motion's carried.
So we checked the second box, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so we went through the short form, the APA referral, we know we don't need that, and it doesn't apply to this. A kind of referral is not required. We have reviewed the application. Does anybody have any questions before we go forward? Next on our list is call for a public hearing. Is there a motion to have one or not?
Doesn't seem necessary.
I'll make the motion to waive a public hearing.
Roll call vote.
Yes, please.
John,
Yes.
Tony,
Yes.
Rosalba,
Yes.
Josh,
Yes.
Barbara,
Yes.
Michael,
Yes.
Howard.
Yes.
Hearing none, the motion's carried.
And finally, we have a decision to approve, deny, or table the condition. Any questions before you? No? I make a motion, we approve it.
I'll second.
Roll call vote.
Yes, please.
John,
Yes.
Tony,
Yes.
Rosalba,
Yes.
Josh,
Yes.
Barbara,
Yes.
Michael,
Yes.
Howard.
Yes.
Hearing none, the motion's carried.
Good.
Thank you. Thank you.
How long do you expect it to take you to build?
2 months.
Good luck.
Yeah, thank you.
Good luck.
You all.
Thank you.
Is the county gonna require you to get a permit for this with them? Have you checked with them?
I would assume so.
So then I'll have to just issue a zoning compliance for you, but we can do that now. I mean, when you're ready, okay?
Thank you all. Thank you.
They'll need something. It's just talking on McKinney in the morning. He's in the office, will be a Wednesday. Let's see if he's gonna reply to it. And, because I've got other copies, I can give you want this set back for now, but I can hold on to it until you, whatever. Bring it back in all the time. There's a rubber band right here if you want to roll it up.
Oh, you found it in a different one? Well, we both looked. So it wasn't.
Now would be a great time to review the minute.
Yes. Everybody, please review the minutes that were handed out. Mike, has everyone reviewed the minutes?
Yes.
Any additions or deletions? If not, I make a motion, we approve the minutes.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Last on our list is any old or new business. Karen, do we have anything?
I don't have anything.
Mary?
Point.
Anyone else?
Regular Wednesday meeting, or is it a Tuesday again next month?
No, this was because of
Just
the
for the summer
concert on
thing, yeah.
Wednesday. We decided to change it to Tuesday.
Yeah.
Plus the car show that goes on. You saw what happened last month. But
It will be August 28th. Wednesday, August 28th will be the next meeting.
which there still might be a car show. I'm not sure, but we'll have to deal with it. Anybody else with old and new business? Howard,
No, I didn't.
make a motion, we adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, great.